Okay, so for literal decades now, people have been clamoring for a Spider-Man and Daredevil team-up. We've seen it many times in the comics, as well as in the games and cartoons, and we even got a taste of it in Spider-Man No Way Home, when Charlie Cox returned as Matt Murdock and got Peter off, got Peter off of his charges for killing Mysterio and manning the drones and all that good stuff. I mean, but now the question has become, with John Bernthal's Punisher, who also returned to that role in Daredevil Born Again, with him now being a key player in Spider-Man Brand New Day, could this mean that we'll be getting Cox's Daredevil in Brand New Day as well? And my gut is telling me yes. We've already got a small Spider-Man reference in the first season of Born Again when Kingpin dropped the mention of a man who dresses in a spider outfit, Vanessa. And that was awesome. That was fucking awesome because of course, it's just neat to hear mention of Spider-Man in a Daredevil show, but it's also awesome because Kingpin is arguably just as much a Spider-Man villain as he is a Daredevil villain. So getting to hear Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin bitch and moan about Spider-Man, that was great. And like our questioner said, Winderbaum, he did confirm that the Born Again season 2 team and the Spider-Man Brand New Day team, they are in communication with one another, which is really great to hear, regardless of if Daredevil shows up in the movie or not, because this is a shared cinematic universe. Both projects take place in New York City. They share cast members, with the Punisher being in both. They need to talk to each other. The teams behind WandaVision and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, they did not communicate whatsoever. And Elizabeth Olsen, she did her damnedest to try to be like, "Hey, should you guys talk? Do you want to talk to me? I might be able to give you some guidance because it feels like you haven't seen the show." And so with that being the case, and it really shows in Multiverse of Madness that they knew nothing about WandaVision. It's really refreshing to hear that these two teams, Brand New Day and Born Again, it's refreshing to hear that they are communicating. And I'm hopeful that with Punisher appearing in Brand New Day, that's a good sign that we may get some Daredevil in there as well. And you would think that Kingpin, he would need to be seen in some capacity in Brand New Day, with him being the mayor of New York and having a beef with all of the city's vigilantes. That's got to play, I would think, a major role in Brand New Day. Now, Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays Kingpin, he has said that due to some legal regarding the movie rights to Kingpin, that the character can't appear in movies. But I don't see why that would be, because 20th Century Fox, they were the studio that had the rights to Daredevil, and they used Kingpin in their Daredevil movie, but those rights all then reverted back to Marvel because they didn't make another Daredevil movie by the deadline. But basically, the way that works is Marvel licensed out movie rights to Daredevil, to Spider-Man with Sony, and various other characters, different studios. And if those studios didn't deliver a film by a certain date, then the rights would revert back to Marvel. It's basically they can't just sit on the character forever. They have to use it or lose it. Anyway, that's what happened with Daredevil. So Daredevil's rights then went back to Marvel, and that's when we got the show and everything. So I don't know why Kingpin's movie rights wouldn't be fully in Marvel's hands now. Really, the only other studio that I can think of that might have some type of, claim to stake on the movie rights to Kingpin would be Sony, because he's also a Spider-Man villain. So really, it kind of would have been a similar case to where maybe Sony and 20th Century Fox both kind of had the right to use Kingpin as a villain, similar to how Marvel Studios and Fox at the time both had the ability to use Quicksilver because Quicksilver was an X-Men and an Avenger. But even if that's the case, I don't see why this would keep Kingpin from showing up in Brand New Day, which is a Sony film. Sony used the character of Kingpin in their Spider-Verse animated movies, so I'm really not sure why D'Onofrio has said that Kingpin can't show up. Anyway, but back to your question, yes, I think that Daredevil is going to appear in Brand New Day. I don't care that Charlie Cox denied that he was in it. At Comic-Con, he was even asked on stage about his appearance in the Spider-Man trailer, and Brandon Davis, who was interviewing him, he was quick to say, I'm referring to the animated show. But Charlie, before that clarification, he looked like a deer in headlights, thinking that Brandon was talking about the Brand New Day trailer, which hilarious. But hey, let me know. Do you guys think that Daredevil and Kingpin will appear in Brand New Day? I think with the way Born Again season 1 ended with Punisher and Now, Punisher being in Brand New Day, I would think you damn near have to have Kingpin and Daredevil show up in Brand New Day, at least make somewhat of a small appearance. But I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. All right. Thanks so much for the question. Hey, everybody. Colton here. And this is the mailbag style show where I take your questions about Marvel, Star Wars, DC, movies, and streaming in general. Whatever you want to ask, send it in to the email address askcoltonnow@gmail.com. Link in the description below. And hey, maybe you'll see your question featured right here on the show.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.